Hello friends, welcome to this YouTube video lesson. Today we are going to discuss another topic of research proposal for preparing research proposal as well as for writing your dissertation report, that is hypothesis, its concept and types. So friends, let me to uh, clear it that this video lesson is for the students who are presently in the second year of MA Education program of Indira Gandhi National Open University, and at present they are pursuing one of the practical oriented and project based course, that is the compulsory course. Course code is MESP 001 and course title is dissertation. The second year learners of MA education program of IGNO, they're supposed to do in this course that they have to prepare a research proposal for their dissertation work, and after getting the approval of the research proposal they have to pursue this research, and after doing the research they have to prepare the dissertation report. Okay, and they have to submit that dissertation report at the concerned regional center for the evaluation. So friends, let me to once again welcome you all. I, Dr. Niradhar, the faculty member, School of Education, Indira Gandhi National Open University, welcome you all to this video lesson. And today, as I have already said that in my earlier video lessons, I have discussed the research problem, the nature of a research problem, how you can select a research problem for your study. Then I have also discussed about the delimitation of the study. At the same time, how you can define your research problem or the important terms, words, the concept that you have addressed in your research title operationally. Okay, and in my last video lesson we have discussed about the review of related literature. So already four important component we have completed for your research proposal and the dissertation report, and today we are going to discuss another important step or another important component, that is hypothesis. So we will try to understand the concept and types of hypothesis. So friends, let us go forward. As I have already said, uh, uh, two important documents we have developed for the support of the learners. uh, Now it is appear on your screen, that is first is the theoretical course, that is MES 016 educational research is the course title, and you have studied this course in the first year of your MA education program. This is a very good course so far as your dissertation work is concerned, that how you can conceptualize your study, how you can select a research problem, then how you pursue, how you adopt the detailed process of conducting this study. So everything has been critically discussed in this course MES 016, and I am hopeful that you must have gone through this course and you must have understood the theoretical construct which is required for pursuing dissertation work. And further, for the support of the learners, we have also developed one handbook on dissertation work. Okay, and this handbook on dissertation work has been carefully prepared, and this has been kept in the e-Gyamco's portal of Indira Gandhi National Open University. You will also get this theory course MES 016 Educational Research. Both these documents, both these courses are kept in the e-Gyamco's portal. So you can download the soft copy of the material, and I am hopeful that you all have received the hard copy of the material. So if you have received the hard copy, definitely go through these two documents, and in case you have not received, please go through eGamco's portal so that you can get the soft copy of this material. And in the handbook of dissertation work, you will find that we have prepared our handbook in such a way, we have discussed it with certain illustration, with certain examples, certain topics, we have taken certain topics, and according to that topic, how you can prepare a research proposal. Okay, so we have discussed every component, we have discussed. We have also discussed hypothesis that I am going to discuss today. So for the support, two documents are in your hand, and I am very much hopeful that go through these two documents and the video lessons that we are that I'm taking every day for providing a type of support to you all. You also watch this video, and definitely you will not find any difficulty for preparing your research proposal. And as pandemic period is now going on across the country, you might be facing difficulties to visit your study center to meet the supervisor that who has allotted to you for supporting you for conducting your study. And you might be facing a difficulty to visit the regional center also. So that's why if you go through these video programs, it will be very much helpful for you. So friends, let us go forward to discuss about the discussion points, the major discussion points of today's lesson, that is hypothesis. So first of all, we will try to understand why there is the need of stating hypothesis in research. रिसर्च में हम हाइपोथेसिस क्यों कंस्ट्रक्ट करें, क्यों स्टेट करें, विदाउट हाइपोथेसिस क्या हम रिसर्च नहीं कर सकते हैं, वी विल डिस्कस. देन आवर सेकेंड डिस्कशन पॉइंट is what is hypothesis. We will try to understand the concept of hypothesis. Okay, इसका अर्थ क्या है, इसका मीनिंग क्या है, और hypothesis से हम क्या समझते हैं. So we will try to understand the concept of hypothesis. Then another discussion point of today's video lesson, that is what are the sources of stating hypothesis. So from where we will get the inputs, we will get the knowledge and information for stating the hypothesis. Okay, so what are the different sources that we can follow for constructing and for stating the hypothesis. Then further, another important discussion point is what are the types of hypothesis. So what are the different types of hypothesis, so that we can select a particular type of hypothesis for our research. So that also we'll discuss. Then another important discussion point, that is how to state the hypothesis. So what are the types and how to state the hypothesis, how you can construct the hypothesis, how you can write the hypothesis. Okay, so friends, these are the important discussion point that we will try to understand today's discussion. And let me to say, before stating the hypothesis, before constructing the hypothesis, you supposed to develop certain research questions and objectives of your study. As I have already said in my earlier video lessons, that as a researcher, when you select a problem, definitely there may be certain questions in your mind, certain research questions in your mind. आपके मन में जरूर कुछ प्रश्न होगा, कुछ शोध प्रश्न होगा, और उसी शोध प्रश्न का उत्तर ढूंढने के लिए, उत्तर पाने के लिए आप एक डिटेल रिसर्च आप कर रहे हैं, एक प्रोसेस, एक डिजाइन आप एडॉप्ट कर रहे हैं आपके स्टडी में. ओके, सो बेसिंग अपॉन द रिसर्च क्वेश्चंस, again you have stated certain objectives. Okay, the main aim or the objectives, the purpose of your study, that what you are going to do. And you see, you know that research, any type of research, it may be a type of academic research, or it may be a type of project. So whenever you are doing a research, we understand that it is a very systematic and scientific work. Okay, a detailed process is involved for conducting the research work. This is not at all a type of haphazard work. Rather, it is a systematic work. So that's why first research questions you have to write, which is coming in your mind as a researcher. Then basing upon the research questions, you have to write certain objectives. Then as per the objectives, if there is the need, then you can state the hypothesis. So friends, not necessarily that you have to develop hypothesis or state hypothesis in all types of studies. Many a time, without stating hypothesis, without constructing hypothesis, you can also conduct your study. If your study is a type of explorative types of study, that means if no studies have been conducted in an area, in a particular type of problem, let your study is the first study. So here you are going to explore the things. Okay, you are not getting any solid base. Okay, you are not getting any review of related literature, or the concept is not it has not published in any literature, then here you are not getting any direction that the result of the problem will go in what direction. So that's why in such cases, without hypothesis, you can conduct a study. And further, if the study is quantitative in nature, and there are certain studies which has conducted earlier, and if you want to establish a type of relationship, or if you want to know or examine the difference between the groups or among the groups, so here definitely you should construct the hypothesis. Okay, so here friends, after going through the discussion, major discussion points, let us now go forward to understand why there is the need of starting hypothesis in research. हाइपोथेसिस का रिसर्च में जरूरत क्या है? यदि हाइपोथेसिस हम नहीं करेंगे, क्या रिसर्च हो नहीं पाएगा? ठीक है, सो हम यहाँ समझने के लिए कोशिश करेंगे कि हाइपोथेसिस का क्या नीड है. So hypothesis, you see, hypothesis direct the study in a systematic way. I have already said that research is a scientific and systematic work. So we have to proceed as a researcher. You have to proceed step by step. Okay. So after selecting the research problem at a certain, you cannot conduct the study and reach at the findings. Rather, for getting the findings, you have to adopt certain steps. So one of the step is the hypothesis. So that's why hypothesis direct the study in a systematic way. That how, as a researcher, how you will proceed. What are the objectives? Then as per the objectives, how you have to state the hypothesis, and further you have to test that hypothesis. You have to verify that hypothesis, whether you are getting a type of correlation, a type of association, or whether you are getting a type of difference between the groups. Further, we will discuss. Then it helps in data organization and analysis. Okay, so when you will analyze the data, so hypothesis will help you a lot. That these are the hypotheses. In my hypothesis, I have just stated to examine such things. Then accordingly, you can just organize your data, and accordingly you can analyze the data and interpret the data. And further, hypothesis determines specific tools and techniques to collect data, as well as use of statistical techniques for data analysis. Try to understand here two things are important. One is tools and techniques to collect data, as well as statistical techniques used for data analysis. So friends, the tools, the specific tools that will use for data collection, that will be specified from our objective onwards. Means our objective, when we state the objective, that will provide certain hint that what type of data you will get. Okay, and for getting that type of data, what tools you are supposed to use, whether the data that you will get by using a questionnaire, or a type of interview, or a type of rating scale, or a type of checklist, so that you can use that you can use a particular hypothesis. Okay, so that's why hypothesis is linked with the tool. First of all, it is linked with the objectives, at the same time the tool. Then further, for examining the hypothesis, for testing the hypothesis, you will be requiring certain statistical techniques, statistical methods. Okay, so for testing hypothesis, if you want to know the significance difference between two means, okay, two means of two groups, what type of statistics you supposed to use. To know the correlations between two variables among a group of students, among a group of learners, so what statistics you have to use. So selection of the statistics, use of the statistics for data analysis will be determined the objectives that you have stated, at the same time the hypothesis that you have constructed. Okay, so all are linked with a systematic way. Okay, so the earlier step is linked with the further steps. You cannot jump at a sudden. Then further, it helps to reach at the findings of the study in a systematic way. So when you write the findings of the study, when you will establish the findings of the study, when you will reach at the findings of the study, when you will state and write the findings of the study, you will find that the hypothesis that you have stated earlier, that also will help you for stating for stating the findings. So friends, let us go forward to understand further why there is the need of stating hypothesis in research. Then again, it restricts to go against the earlier developed theories and principles. Many a time, this is the principles or this is the guidelines, we can say the characteristics of a good hypothesis. A good hypothesis shouldn't contradict any theories which has developed earlier. Okay, let a theory is developed earlier. Let intelligence. Okay, intelligence. This is the findings of many research, and universally this is accepted that the relationship between intelligence and achievement is always positive. Okay, so that means a group of learners who are intelligent, or the intelligence level of the learners will determine their achievement in most of the cases. So that's why it is restrict to go against the earlier developed theories and principle. You cannot say that the group of learners are having high intelligence but their achievement is very low. If their achievement is very low, there may be certain difficulties, certain errors in your study. That study you have conceptualized and you have conducted. So that's why when you are stating the hypothesis, you should read out, you should go through the review of related literature. Then accordingly, you should understand, you should develop a theoretical construct. You should understand the concept of a theory. Okay, so a theory, let the theory of a variable, how that is correlated with other variable, how that is associated with other variable. Then accordingly, you can state the hypothesis. So hypothesis shouldn't contradict a theory which is developed earlier. So this is one of the guidelines. Then further, stating hypothesis is a scientific way to conduct the study. I have already said. So research is a systematic work, a stepwise work. So that's why it makes your study very systematic. Then further, statement of hypothesis signifies the insight and involvement of the researcher in research. Friends, you are the researcher. You have gained a detailed understanding about your study because you have involved in your study in a very large way. So that's why you better understand your study. The hypothesis that you are stating, that determines that how much you are involved in your study. Okay, so that's why as a researcher you should understand the theory of the variable that you are going to study in your research. At the same time, the other correlated variables with the variables that you are going to study, you should develop a detailed understanding of it. So that's why that will signify and that will clarify that the involvement of the researchers in the study. So friends, let us go forward now to discuss that what is hypothesis. Hypothesis kya hai? Literally, if I will say etymologically, hypothesis, it derives from two words. First is the hypo. The meaning of hypo is less than, and the next word, that is the thesis. Hypo and thesis. I can just make two words of this term hypothesis: hypo and thesis. Hypo means less than, and thesis means truth. So that's why the statement, we can say it is a statement of less than a truth or a problem. So hypothesis is less than a truth. That is not the truth. Truth will prevail after conducting the study. Okay, so when you will examine the hypothesis, when you will interpret the result, then you will get the real result or the real truth of your study. But hypothesis, this is just a type of assumption. So what you are doing, hypothetically basing upon your experience as a researcher and the literature studies that you have done, that you have conducted, the basis that you have understood, that you have examined, basing upon the researcher's knowledge, at the same time the literature that you have studied, you are going to state certain hypothesis for providing a type of direction to your study. Okay, but you can't say that that is the truth. Okay, truth is something different. Truth you will get after conducting the study. So that's why hypothesis is called as less than truth. It is not exactly truth. Okay, and this less than truth or the hypothesis will make you reach at the truth. Okay, many a time the hypothesis that you have stated may be truth. Okay, may be accepted, or many a time it may be rejected. Okay, it based upon the data that you have collected. Then further, hypothesis is an assumption about the solution of a problem. So friends, here I am saying this is a type of assumption. Okay, you are just stating certain assumption, you are taking certain assumption to conduct a study. Okay, your assumption, let your assumption that you are saying that there will be significant difference between boys and girls in their score of achievement in class ninth mathematics. Okay, so this is your assumption, but you cannot say that your assumption is truth unless you verify it, unless you examine it by conducting a study. Okay, so that's why hypothesis is an assumption that may be true or that may not be true, and this can be done when you will verify the hypothesis. Then further we can say it is a tentative guess. It is a tentative guess. Okay, so you are just guessing something, that such type of result I may get, and your guessing should be based upon certain status or certain best or certain literature studies or certain theories, certain principles, certain laws that you have studied earlier. Okay, so it is a tentative guess of the result of the study. Then further, hypothesis is a supposition. You are just making a supposition. Okay, that supposition may be right or may be wrong. Then hypothesis is an intelligent guess. As a researcher, you can guess intelligently basing upon your cognitions, basing upon your intellect, basing upon your observation, basing upon your involvement in your study. At the same time, the status of the problem that you have analyzed from the review of related literature, from different professional literature. So, friend, this is the concept of hypothesis. Now, let us try to understand that what are the different sources that we can use for stating the hypothesis. Yesterday, we are just talking about in my earlier video lesson the sources of review of related literature. Okay, then further we have also discussed about the sources of selecting a research problem. So everywhere you will find that there are certain sources, and here the sources of review of related literature is maybe the source for stating a hypothesis. So when you are going through the review of related literature, from there you are getting optimum information, optimum knowledge about a research problem, the status about a research problem. So friends, here to understand about the sources of stating hypothesis, getting certain insights, certain knowledge about hypothesis, the first source is experience of the researcher. So friends, being a teacher, being a researcher in education, I always believe that the researcher, you are the first and foremost person to understand deeply about your research, because you are involved in the process of research. You have done the review of related literature, you have selected the research problem, the research problem is yours. So that's why experience of the researcher is the first source for stating the object hypothesis, because you have understand about the research problem, and you can you have observed the situation. Then you can say that you can take a type of supposition, or tentatively you can say, or you can develop an assumption that where the direction of the study will go, what type of result you may get. Okay, so that's why experience of the researcher is the first source for stating hypothesis. And further I can say background knowledge of the study. So friends, I have already said that the first point for conducting your study is review of related literature. So when you review the related literature, you're supposed to study the theories. So when you will analyze the theories, develop a theoretical construct, then you can understand about the background knowledge of the study. Okay, the best of conducting that study. The background knowledge of conducting the study is also one of the source of hypothesis, because somehow that is related with, associated with a principle, with certain theories and laws. Okay, then further we can say intellect to understand a theory. I have already discussed that how you are able to understand a theory. So when you are understanding a theory, when you are understanding a theory, you are also getting a certain knowledge about how that theory or how that variable is associated with other variable. Let you have selected intelligence, how intelligence works for achievement, how intelligence works for aptitude, how aptitude works for intelligence, how aptitude works for achievement. So ये जो वेरिएबल का नाम मैं ले रहा हूँ, it may be creativity, it may be attitude, it may be intelligence, it may be aptitude. ये जो वेरिएबल सब है, चर जो सब है, एक दूसरे के प्रति कैसे संबंधित है, क्या एक दूसरे को मदद करते हैं, दोनों सेम डायरेक्शन में जाते हैं या दोनों डिफरेंट डायरेक्शन में जाते हैं, ये सभी चीजें तभी संभव होगा जब जो सिद्धांत पहले डेवलप हो चुका है, जब वो सिद्धांत को आप अध्ययन करेंगे, जो सिद्धांत को आप अच्छे से पढ़ेंगे, अच्छे से समझने के लिए कोशिश करेंगे. सो दैट्स व्हाई इट इज अबाउट योर इंटेलेक्ट, that how you understand the theory. Then further we can say analogies and arguments, how you can establish a type of logic and reasoning in your study, what your reasoning said. Okay, so that is also another source for stating hypothesis. Then further scientific theories, I have already discussed that the different scientific theories is also a base. Then authentic knowledge, the knowledge that you are getting, whether that knowledge is authentic or not, whether that is based upon certain research findings or not, certain theories or not, that also you have to link. And the authentic knowledge is also one of the sources for stating the hypothesis. Then literature studies, I have already said that the review of related literature, the much professional literature you will study, the much knowledge that you will gain, and that knowledge will help you for stating hypothesis for your study. Then further one more important aspect, that is the expert opinion. So friends, many a time when you are conducting a study, you are coming in contact with your supervisor, at the same time subject experts. Okay, those have kept certain you can say depth knowledge in that area. So when you will interact with them, you will also get certain ideas that what type of result you may get. Okay, so that's why these are the sources. By using these sources, you can state your hypothesis. Apart from these sources, you can also use other sources. But mostly for stating hypothesis, there should be certain base, there should be certain sources, so that you can say that these hypotheses are not purely yours, that you have gone through the studies earlier and basing upon the studies you have stated the hypothesis. And as a researcher, if you have observed certain things, you have examined certain things in the field, you have experienced certain things, that can also be the base for stating hypothesis. So friends, let us go forward. But here when I'm saying researchers experience, that should not be biased, that should be neutral. Being a researcher, you should always you should be an unbiased person. Okay, so without adopting any biasness, without giving space for any biasness, you can state your hypothesis. Further, there are two types of hypothesis. One can say, we can say that first is the directional and non-directional hypothesis is in one side, then other is research and null hypothesis. So friends, we will try to understand that what is a directional hypothesis and what is a non-directional hypothesis. Then further we will also discuss what is a research hypothesis and what is null hypothesis. In a directional hypothesis, here one direction, you will find a clear cut direction, that in what way your variable is going. Then in non-directional hypothesis, you will not find a particular, a specific direction. Okay, certain openness will be there. It is just like a two-tailed test and one-tailed test. In one-tailed test, you will find you are getting a clear-cut direction, either in a positive direction or in a negative direction. But in a two-tailed test, it is just like a non-directional hypothesis. Means you are not, means here, it may go in either side, it may go either in the positive side or in the negative side, but it is not specified. So that's why it is possible in a two directional way. Okay, so two directional means that is non-directional. The direction is not specified, it may go at any type. It supports two-tailed test. Then further we can say hypothesis can be a research hypothesis, and it can also be a type of null hypothesis, that is also called as statistical hypothesis. So friends, let us try to understand what is a directional hypothesis, then further what is non-directional hypothesis with examples. Then further we will discuss that what is research hypothesis and what is null hypothesis. Let us go forward. To understand about directional hypothesis, here I have stated two examples. The first example is there is positive relationship between the academic achievement and study habits of the students. So friends, try to understand this is a hypothesis. Here, there is positive relationship between the academic achievement and study habits. So here what type of correlation you are getting? You are getting a positive correlation or positive relationship between academic achievement and study habits. It means the better study habits will product, you can say, high academic achievement. Means both the variables will go in the same direction, that is the positive direction. Means the scores of academic achievement and the scores of study habits will positive. Okay, so that means जो जो स्टूडेंट्स है, ग्रुप ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स जिनका स्टडी हैबिट अच्छा है, ओके, कंस्ट्रक्टिव है, पॉजिटिव स्टडी हैबिट्स है, उनका एकेडमिक अचीवमेंट भी अच्छा होगा. ओके, सो इसीलिए दोनों पॉजिटिव डायरेक्शन में जाएंगे. और जिनका स्टडी हैबिट अच्छा नहीं है, जिनका स्टडी हैबिट कंस्ट्रक्टिव नहीं है, बेटर स्टडी हैबिट जिनका नहीं है, उनका एकेडमिक अचीवमेंट अच्छा नहीं होगा. ये स्टडी ऐसे कहता है. सो पॉजिटिव रिलेशनशिप मीन्स जिनका स्टडी हैबिट अच्छा है उनका एकेडमिक अचीवमेंट अच्छा होगा. और जिनका एकेडमिक अचीवमेंट अच्छा है, यदि उनका स्टडी हैबिट्स हम देखेंगे, उनका स्टडी हैबिट्स भी अच्छा होगा. So friends, this is a directional hypothesis, as the direction is specified here, that both the variable will proceed, will move, will go in a positive direction. Okay, the correlations between the scores of both the variable will positive. Then further, in the second example, here you see students with high test anxiety will score badly in examination as compared to students of low test anxiety. इसका मतलब है group of students will not do good or do badly in their examination if they have high test anxiety. मतलब जिस स्टूडेंट्स का जिनका टेस्ट एंजाइटी बहुत हाई है, तो उनका स्कोर खराब होगा इन कंपैरिजन टू स्टूडेंट्स और ग्रुप ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स जिनका टेस्ट एंजाइटी बहुत कम है. आप देखिए, एंजाइटी होनी चाहिए, एंजाइटी इज ए पॉजिटिव थिंग, बट हाई एंजाइटी इज नॉट ए पॉजिटिव थिंग. ओके, हाई एंजाइटी आएगा तो आपका टेंशन बढ़ेगा. ओके, सो आपका फैटिक डेवलप होगा, आप एग्जाम में अच्छा नहीं कर पाएंगे. यू कैन नॉट फील स्टेबल ड्यूरिंग द एग्जामिनेशन. सो दैट्स वाई बहुत सारे एंजाइटी, बहुत ज्यादा एंजाइटी आपका स्टेबिलिटी को लॉस करेगा. सो दैट्स वाई एग्जामिनेशन में आप अच्छा रिजल्ट नहीं कर सकते हैं. सो बेसिंग अपन दिस, एक डायरेक्शन यहाँ स्पेसिफाई हुआ है. स्टूडेंट्स विद हाई टेस्ट एंजाइटी विल स्कोर बैडली इन एग्जामिनेशन एज कंपेयर टू स्टूडेंट्स ऑफ लो टेस्ट एंजाइटी. एक हाई टेस्ट एंजाइटी ग्रुप है और एक लो टेस्ट एंजाइटी का ग्रुप है. आप देखेंगे, यदि उनका एग्जामिनेशन स्कोर देखेंगे, हाई टेस्ट एंजाइटी ग्रुप स्टूडेंट का स्कोर्स कंपैरेटिवली लेस होगा लो टेस्ट एंजाइटी ग्रुप का. लो टेस्ट एंजाइटी ग्रुप का स्कोर अच्छा होगा उनसे. तो हियर वन डायरेक्शन इज स्पेसिफाइड दैट द ग्रुप ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स will score badly, those are having high test anxiety, and a group of students will do better, those are having low test anxiety. So in both the examples here, you see the direction has been specified. But now let us try to understand with two examples of non-directional hypothesis. ठीक है, यहाँ दिशा नहीं दिया गया है. ठीक है, ये जो हाइपोथेसिस है इसका दिशा नहीं दिया गया है. ये जो परिकल्पना हमने बनाया, इस परिकल्पना दिशाहीन है. जैसे कि पहले दिशा दे दिया था, एक पॉजिटिव कोरिलेशन का दिशा था और एक हाई टेस्ट एंजाइटी का जो स्कोरिंग पैटर्न है एग्जामिनेशन में वो हाई होता था, वो लो होता था इन कंपैरिजन टू लो लो टेस्ट एंजाइटी। पर यहाँ नॉन डायरेक्शनल में जहाँ दिशा नहीं दिया गया है परिकल्पना में, चलिए समझने के लिए कोशिश करते हैं कि इसमें किस प्रकार का एग्जाम्पल है। देयर इज ए डिफरेंस इन द एकेडमिक अचीवमेंट ऑफ बीएड स्टूडेंट्स एनरोल्ड इन ओपन एंड कन्वेंशनल यूनिवर्सिटीज। बीएड स्टूडेंट्स जो ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी और कन्वेंशनल यूनिवर्सिटीज में एनरोल हुए हैं, उनका जो एकेडमिक अचीवमेंट है, ये कहा गया है देयर इज ए डिफरेंस, दोनों में तक अंतर आएगा। पर क्या ये हाइपोथेसिस पढ़ने के बाद हमें कुछ समझ में आता है कि जो डिफरेंस आएगा ये किस डायरेक्शन में जाएगा? ठीक है। सो वेदर इट इज ए टू टेल टेस्ट और इट इज ए वन टेल टेस्ट, दिस इज नॉट एन वन टेल टेस्ट, क्योंकि यह डायरेक्शन कुछ क्लियर नहीं किया गया है। जो डिफरेंस है, दोनों का डिफरेंस जो है, ये कैसे मतलब कौन अच्छा करेगा? एक डिफरेंस तो आएगा। ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी में जो बीएड स्टूडेंट्स एडमिशन लिए हैं वो अच्छा करेंगे, या कन्वेंशनल यूनिवर्सिटीज में जो एडमिशन लिए हैं, रेगुलर प्रोग्राम में जो एडमिशन लिए हैं वो अच्छा करेंगे, ये स्पेसिफाई नहीं हुआ है। पर जरूर एक डिफरेंस, सिंपल डिफरेंस यहाँ दिया है कि दोनों में एक अंतर होगा, पर अंतर किस डायरेक्शन में जाएगा, कौन अच्छा करेगा, ये नहीं कहा गया है। सो दैट्स व्हाई वी कैन से दैट दिस इज ए नॉन डायरेक्शनल हाइपोथेसिस। सेकंड एग्जांपल, there is a difference in the academic achievement of the students with high test anxiety and a low anxiety in the examination. Now you compare our earlier slides when we are discussing the directional hypothesis. डायरेक्शनल हाइपोथेसिस में क्लियरली वहाँ जिक्र किया कि हाई टेस्ट एंजाइटी ग्रुप ऑफ स्टूडेंट का स्कोरिंग जो है, स्कोरिंग पैटर्न खराब होगा, स्कोरिंग पैटर्न लो होगा इन कंपैरिजन टू लो टेस्ट एंजाइटी स्टूडेंट्स। पर इधर देखो, ये फिर नॉन डायरेक्शनल में कहा देयर इज ए डिफरेंस इन द एकेडमिक अचीवमेंट ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स विथ हाई टेस्ट एंजाइटी एंड लो एंजाइटी इन द एग्जामिनेशन। हाई टेस्ट एंजाइटी स्टूडेंट्स एक ग्रुप में है, लो टेस्ट एंजाइटी स्टूडेंट्स अनदर ग्रुप में है। दोनों का एग्जामिनेशन का जो स्कोरिंग पैटर्न है उसमें तो डिफरेंस आएगा, पर ये डिफरेंस नहीं कहा कि कौन अच्छा करेंगे और कौन अच्छा नहीं करेंगे और कौन बुरा करेंगे, किसका स्कोर अच्छा होगा और किसका स्कोर अच्छा नहीं होगा, किसका स्कोर ज्यादा होगा, किसका स्कोर कम होगा। सो दैट्स व्हाई in both the examples, in both the illustrations, we can say that these are the example of non-directional hypothesis. It supports a two-tailed test. यह नहीं कहा गया डिफरेंस जो है किस डायरेक्शन में जाएगा, कौन अच्छा करेगा और कौन अच्छा नहीं करेगा। मुझे लगता है आप लोग समझ रहे हैं व्हाट इज ए डायरेक्शनल हाइपोथेसिस व्हिच सपोर्ट्स ए वन-tailed टेस्ट एंड व्हाट इज ए नॉन-डायरेक्शनल हाइपोथेसिस which supports a two-tailed test. So let us go forward. फर्दर अभी हम समझने के लिए कोशिश करेंगे कि व्हाट इज रिसर्च हाइपोथेसिस, देन नेक्स्ट स्लाइड्स में हम डिस्कशन करेंगे व्हाट इज नॉल हाइपोथेसिस। देखिए, लेट अस ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड विद सर्टेन एग्जांपल्स। देयर इज अ डिफरेंस बिटवीन द लर्निंग स्टाइल ऑफ बॉयज एंड गर्ल्स। ओके, आप देखिए, सिंपली यहां कहा गया बॉयज का लर्निंग स्टाइल एंड गर्ल्स का लर्निंग स्टाइल के मध्य के बीच एक डिफरेंस आएगा। यहां भी नहीं कहा कि ये डिफरेंस किस डायरेक्शन में जाएगा, ये भी नहीं कहा। ओके, सो रिसर्च हाइपोथेसिस स्टेट करने के बाद हमें फिर नॉन हाइपोथेसिस स्टेट करना पड़ेगा टू टेस्ट द रिसर्च हाइपोथेसिस। ओके, तो फर्दर आप देखिए, दिस हाइपोथेसिस इज ऑल्सो नोन एज, इसे हम सिंबॉलिकली लिख सकते हैं H1। H1 मीन्स दिस इज ए रिसर्च हाइपोथेसिस इन सपोर्ट ऑफ ए रिसर्च हाइपोथेसिस। फॉर टेस्टिंग इट, फॉर एग्जामिनिंग इट, फॉर वेरीफाइंग इट, वी कैन स्टेट द स्टैटिस्टिकल हाइपोथेसिस दैट इज कॉल्ड एज null hypothesis. So this research hypothesis or the hypothesis is also known as H1 or general hypothesis. This is also called as a general hypothesis, empirical hypothesis because we can prove it statistically further. Then experimental hypothesis, we can also experiment it by using the statistics. Then theory hypothesis or substantive hypothesis or operation hypothesis. Different research book में आपको different terms यूज होते हुए मिलेगा, सो डोंट बी कंफ्यूज्ड। सो रिसर्च हाइपोथेसिस We can also say that this is the general hypothesis, empirical hypothesis, experimental hypothesis, theory or substantive hypothesis, or operation hypothesis. And uh, this hypothesis, however, cannot be tested, proved, or disproved unless we use the statistical hypothesis or the null hypothesis. So friends, अभी चलिए समझने के लिए कोशिश करें कि null hypothesis क्या है. So friends, null hypothesis is also called as a statistical hypothesis because here you have to use the empirical statistics, you have to use the statistical methods. It may be a descriptive statistics, it may be inferential statistics to test the hypothesis. Okay, it indicates there is no difference or no relationship between two variables. Null hypothesis means ये कहता है बिटवीन टू वेरिएबल्स देयर इज नो सिग्निफिकेंट डिफरेंस, दोनों के बीच में कोई डिफरेंस नहीं है. ओके, जब हम टेस्ट करेंगे तो पता चलेगा कि ये डिफरेंस किस डायरेक्शन में जाता है. बट टू बिगिन विथ मैं कहूँगा बीइंग ए रिसर्चर विदाउट गिविंग स्पेस टू एनी टाइप ऑफ बायसनेस, मैं कहूँगा कि दोनों के बीच में कोई डिफरेंस नहीं है. मैं पहले क्यों कह दूं, यदि कोई बेस नहीं है, पहले मैं क्यों कह दूं कि देयर इज ए सिग्निफिकेंट डिफरेंस, और डिफरेंस किसका हाई होगा और किसका लो होगा. यदि मेरे पास कुछ सलीड एक्सपीरियंस है, सलीड ऑब्जर्वेशन है, सलीड डाटा है, सलीड रिव्यूज है, मैं एनालिसिस किया हूँ, सलीड बेस है, मैं कह सकता हूँ, एक डायरेक्शन क्लियर कर सकता हूँ. यदि मेरे पास डायरेक्शन नहीं है, मैं कहूँगा मैं नल हाइपोथेसिस स्टेट करूँगा विदाउट गिविंग ए स्पेस for any type of biasness. So this is also called as a neutral types of hypothesis. Means as a researcher, you are just keeping yourself in a very neutral position without giving any biasness to your study. Then further, null hypothesis is symbolically written as HO. So we can say HO. So that is the null hypothesis. So friends, let us now try to understand with certain examples that how we can state the null hypothesis. You see, two examples are given here. First example is there is no significant difference exists between the mean scores of boys and girls in their achievement in mathematics. So here the subject is mathematics. There are two groups. One group is boys and other groups are the girls. So what you are saying, there is no significant difference एग्जिस्ट बिटवीन द मीन स्कोर्स ऑफ बॉयज एंड गर्ल्स. मैथमेटिक्स में उनका जो अचीवमेंट स्कोर है बॉयज और गर्ल्स के मध्य कोई सार्थक अंतर नहीं है. ठीक है, आप क्यों कहेंगे कि बॉयज मैथमेटिक्स में अच्छा करेंगे या गर्ल्स मैथमेटिक्स में अच्छा करेंगे, और बॉयज मैथमेटिक्स में गर्ल्स के कंपैरिजन में अच्छा करेंगे या अच्छा नहीं करेंगे, या गर्ल्स बॉयज के कंपैरिजन में अच्छा करेंगे. So far as subject is concerned, it's very difficult to say that whether boys will do better or girls will do better. So keeping in consideration, you can say the gravity of the study or the reviews that you have studied, if you are not getting any direction, then what you can do, you can keep, as a researcher, you can just keep yourself in a neutral position without providing space for any type of biasness. You can state a null hypothesis, a statistical hypothesis, that there is no significant difference between the mean scores of boys and girls in their achievement in mathematics. And when you will examine it, when you will test it by using t-test, that is the significance difference between, to know the significance difference between two mean, you can also justify, you can also examine whether boys did well or girls did well. Okay, so but here in hypothesis you are not providing any direction, any space of difference. You are just saying that there is no significant difference. Then again, in the second example, in association between two variables, we can state a null hypothesis like there is no relationship between achievement and self-concept of the students in secondary school examinations. So there is no relationship between achievement and self-concept of the students in secondary school examination. Okay, so there is no relationship between achievement as one variable and self-concept as another variable of the students in the secondary school. ठीक है, सो ये दोनों वेरिएबल के बीच में जो कोरिलेशन है, आप कहते हैं नो रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन दिस टू वेरिएबल। सो पहले से आप नहीं कहते हैं कि दोनों के बीच में एक पॉजिटिव वेरिएबल आए, पॉजिटिव रिलेशनशिप आएगा या नेगेटिव रिलेशनशिप आएगा। वेदर बोथ द वेरिएबल्स विल प्रोसीड, will go in the same direction or will go in contradiction in both the direction, okay, in negative direction. One go in this way and other goes in another way. So friends, here in both the hypothesis, this is called as the null hypothesis, that here either there is no significant difference or there is no relationship, but definitely you will get a relationship when you will examine this hypothesis and when you will when you will use the statistics to test the hypothesis. It may be a correlation method or it may be a type of t-test or a type of ANOVA. So friends, here I am not discussing the statistical methods. I have just discussed about the concept of hypothesis and how to state the hypothesis. And when we will discuss the statistics, then you can better understand that these hypotheses, how it can be tested by using suitable statistical method as per the objectives, as per the hypothesis that you have stated, as per the nature of your study, scope of your study. So friends, today we discuss the concept of hypothesis, which we understood what is hypothesis, then what is the need of stating the hypothesis, need of constructing the hypothesis, and further we also discussed different sources from where you can you can construct the hypothesis, and we have also discussed with suitable examples and illustration that how you can state the hypothesis, how you can write the hypothesis. It may be a research hypothesis, maybe a null hypothesis, maybe a directional hypothesis, or maybe a non-directional hypothesis. In our next program, we will discuss another aspect, another component of preparing research proposal, at the same time for conducting your research, your dissertation work in MA education program, as well as for writing the dissertation report. Friends, I'm hopeful that these video lessons, you are understanding these video lessons and you are getting a type of support for pursuing your dissertation course. For further queries, you can write a mail to me, niradhar@ignou.ac.in. You can also make me a phone call. This is my office number. My intercom is 2994. Then you can visit my Facebook page. You will find number of video programs, video lessons relating to your program, MA education program. At the same time, other video lessons relating to other educational issues and educational theme. You can also you can also subscribe my YouTube channel. You will find thousands, you will find hundreds of you can say videos which is developed in different theme on education, and you can also go through my my Twitter handle. So friends, for further queries you can just write to me. Thank you. Today we discussed hypothesis, and we'll discuss other aspect in my next video lesson. Thank you.